Hi everybody, Beth Wietrokowski, Michael Saunders and Company, and today is the second day of October. Yay! I love October because I love Halloween. It is probably my favorite holiday and I'm looking forward to it. I'm even drinking coffee out of one of my favorite mugs that I got in New Orleans, and I'm getting my house decorated and all kinds of stuff. So today's discussion is going to be on closing day, okay? So you've gone through the whole process. You're either selling your house or you're buying your house, whatever the case may be, and it's closing day. There are certain things that have to happen on closing day. So, for example, let's talk about exchange of keys. If you are the seller, okay, and you are closing, you need to make sure that you leave all your garage door openers, your fobs, if you have fobs for a gate or a pool or a weight room or something like that that your community has. The reason for that is because we are telling people that these things are available, and we want to make sure it actually is available for the person coming in, because these communities charge $75 to $150 for these things. If you've got a gate card, if you have a gate clicker, whatever your community does, you need to make sure all that stuff is left. All your keys for your property, all of them. If your housekeeper, your grass cutter, your pool guy, your mother-in-law, your kids, any of these people have a keys, you really need to collect these keys from them and leave them for them. Hi, Rudy. Leave them for your buyer, okay? You can do this one of a couple ways. You can leave them all on the counter, and a lot of people do that. A lot of people just out the door on the counter. If you are attending closing, you can leave them with the closing agent. We need to make sure that you're the first person signing that day, but you can leave them with the closing agent. Your closing agent, you're not your closing agent, your buyer's closing agent will not hand over those keys until money is present. That happens one of two ways. Either the wire, if your buyer is paying cash, has posted to the closing agent's account. Then they'll hand over the keys. Or if your buyer is getting a loan, once their wire for their down payment and the lender's money for the loan posts, then they'll get the keys. Once in a blue moon, we have a real late closing where the money maybe doesn't post, or we know it's going to post later in the day, and sometimes that closing agent will go ahead and give the keys only if they've got an established relationship with this lender and know it's coming. That will do. And one of the nice things about, hi Kenneth, one of the nice things about how we now do loans is that we have all of this stuff lined up beforehand. So let's not worry about that one right now. So you need to bring all of these things either to closing or leave them, hi Chantal, or leave them at the house. Whatever you're comfortable doing is fine. I can bring them to closing if that's within your comfort level. Whatever works, but you need to leave all that stuff there, everything that has to do with the house. It's also nice to leave all of your manuals. If you have manuals for your appliances, if you've got a manual for your security system, if you have a manual for your garage door opener, if you've got a manual for your pool, please leave it. That's a really, really nice thing to do. And what'll happen is it'll prevent things like your buyer calling in a week going, how do I turn on the dishwasher? Because, some of these dishwashers are kind of goofy. How do I set the security system? Who do I call to set up a security system? Leave everything, okay? Seller, your property needs to be, according to the contract, swept clean. What that means, basically, is broom clean. You take a broom, you sweep your way out the door. My advice to you is clean the property. Leave a clean house for your buyer. It is one of the nicest things you can do. Whether you do it yourself or we send somebody in, it is one of the nicest things you can do to create a good experience. And let's face it, you love your house. You do not want to hand over a dirty house to somebody. I know you don't. So go ahead and have that done. And once you remove all of your property from the house, all of your personal property, it's much easier to bring somebody in to clean it. When are you going to move out? Easy. You really, really should be out at least the day before, at the very, very least the day before. The reason is this: as of the day of closing, the house actually belongs to the buyer. Whether they close at 8 o'clock in the morning or whether they close at 5 o'clock at night, the house belongs to the buyer. On the day of closing, they have the opportunity to come and do a walkthrough. Many, many buyers, myself included, will not do a walkthrough until all the personal property is out, because then we can't check that box that says that we know that the property is free of issues. I mean, I closed on a house one time where the sellers moved out and came down a staircase, dropped the couch from the bonus room, put a big hole in the wall. So you want to make sure that if you do that as you're moving out, you make arrangements to have it fixed before your buyer comes along to do the inspection. Get all that stuff taken care of. Your electric, if you have water service and you're not on septic, have it turned off for the day of closing. That way your buyer can have it turned on for the day of closing, and there's a seamless integration here. We don't have to worry about somebody walking in and not having power, because when they do their walkthrough, power needs to be on. Okay, so let's make sure we do that. Make sure that if your grass is due to be cut that week, it gets done. If your pool is due to be cleaned and serviced that week, make sure it gets done. Once you go into contract, it is up to you, seller, to make sure you maintain the property. It doesn't mean you go, yep, I'm done, I don't have to do any more maintenance. No, you've got to make sure you keep up your maintenance. So make sure that you have all that stuff done, because technically speaking, your buyer can go, why is the grass 3 feet high? You need to cut this, because when I wrote the contract and the offer was accepted, the grass was cut. So the property needs to be in the same condition in which they purchased it. Okay. Buyers, here we go. You need to make sure that you schedule your closing in time for your wires to hit. We're not going to do a 5 o'clock closing. There is always extenuating circumstances. Let's find out what those things are before the day of closing. Schedule your closing at a time frame when things will post. And here's the reason why. If you're getting a loan, your loan doesn't show up until you sign your loan docs. So when you sign your loan documents, which should be the first thing you sign with your closing agent that you choose, whether it's a title company or an attorney, then they send off those loan documents to your lender, and then your lender releases the money. Technically speaking, my buyer friends, you do not own that house until that money posts. Okay? It's not your house. You will be paying everything as of the day of closing. So as of the day of closing, you are now responsible for taxes, any HOA fees, and any condo fees. So make sure everything posts, because you're going to be paying for it. Okay. Make sure that you have the water turned on. Actually, that's not true. The water will be in your name, but it will be prorated, because in our area, the water company won't put it into your name until they get a copy of the closing disclosure. Call ahead of time and make sure that you have all this set up. Make sure you call FPL and have FPL put the power in your name, and then you will have a seamless transition, and you'll be able to then, hi Christy, hi Tim, hi JC, hi Dee, and then make sure that you can have power and everything, because you're going to be moving in that night, or at least, going to the house and opening a bottle of champagne or something. You want power on. I can help you set up everything else as far as pool maintenance, grass maintenance, all that good stuff. Typically speaking, the seller will leave all that information for you, and you can inherit whomever they've been using. And that's actually the easiest way to handle things. Your moving truck needs to show up sometime, probably not first thing in the morning. The chances of you actually signing and getting the keys at 8 o'clock in the morning are not good. Hi, Tim. Hi, Christy. Not good. So have your moving truck show up that afternoon, or even better yet, the next day. Trust me, it'll make it significantly less stressful on you. You won't be running around making yourself crazy. So that's probably the best way to handle it. You need to make sure that you have your wires set up. You really need to make sure that you have your wired funds for either your deposit for your loan, or your down payment for your loan rather, or if you're paying in cash. You really need to take care of that the day before. The reason is there are some banks, depending on where you're sending the money from, that can take 24 hours. So let's take all of those concerns and guessworks and problems that could happen at the end, and let's just take care of it head on. So do it the day before. That way it's already at your closing agent, and we don't have to worry about that. Then all we got to do is wait on your wire from your lender. That's pretty much it. We'll go do a walkthrough that morning, check that off, make sure everything looks good, make sure the property is still in good condition. We go to closing, and you get the keys, and everything is for you. That doesn't mean that if you have a question 4 days later, 2 weeks later, a month later about something that you've just discovered, that doesn't mean you can't call me. It just means that, we try to take care of everything up front if we can. So that's your closing date. It's a little crazy. It's a little hectic. We'll get all those boxes checked. We'll take care of everything. Seller moves on to wherever they're moving on. Buyer, you move into your new house that you love so much, and everybody's happy. So have a good day. It is still beautiful out. It's not terribly humid. Drink lots of water. Wear your sunscreen. If you have any questions about your closing day, throw it in the comments. If you have any questions about real estate in general, throw it in the comments. And I will be back here on Friday to catch up with you all. Have a great day. Bye, everybody.